Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
Hey guys, my stitches are like freaking broken. Whenever I try to stitch a video, I can hear a sound on their end, and then mine is just no sound. So I'm going to do this as best I can so I can get a video to you, because I've been seeing these stories for the last few days, and I want to tell you mine. I don't know what exactly I experienced that night. I don't know if it was a ghost, if it was a demon, or if it was just a really bad detailed dream. I lived alone in a new construction home, so there was no history tied to that home or to the land. I'm 46 years old now. This happened when I was around 26, and I still remember it like it was yesterday because it scared the hell out of me. Alright, here goes. I was 26, already a registered nurse, living in my first purchased home. Like I said, a new home, so there was nothing tied to that land. There was no like creepy stories about the area. I lived right down the road from all the rest of my family. I felt extremely safe. I always felt safe there. I had worked like 4 12-hour shifts in a row and came home just exhausted. Did what everybody else does. Just took a shower, ate, headed to bed. Had a pretty medium-sized bedroom. The head of the bed was against the wall in the middle of the bedroom. Beside that was a nightstand with a lamp on it, and then I always laid facing the wall, and I had a window, but the window wasn't creepy. It was always closed and with blinds, and always behind me would be just my dresser on the far wall and the door that I came into to enter the room. So crawled in bed, turned off the lights, and was out, exhausted. It was sometime during the night that I woke up, and normally waking up it would be dark, but this time it was almost like there was a TV behind me playing, and it was throwing light onto the wall in front of me. I was laying, of course, on my side facing the wall, and I could just see oranges and yellows and shadows, just dancing along this wall. And I just laid there calmly looking at it because my brain hadn't caught up yet. And that's when I started hearing what sounded like loud crackling, like if you were at a big fireplace and you heard the wood in that fireplace just crackling because it was so hot. And I was like, shit, my house is on fire. And I tried to jump up. First thing you do, jump up, flip over, so I could look behind me, see what the hell is going on. I was paralyzed, completely paralyzed. I couldn't move an inch, and I'm telling you, I was trying to the point where it felt like my muscles were shaking, like every ounce of energy, just trying to just even turn my head. I could feel my neck, like it was almost like cramping from just me trying so hard to turn my head, completely paralyzed. As I was fighting like my own body, I began to notice other little details, like the fact that I didn't feel heat. I didn't feel any heat from this obvious fire behind me, and I did not smell any smoke, even though I could tell this crackling was my dresser and the wall just engulfed in this hot flame that was just sounded like the loudest wood breaking. Then I felt a presence standing in that fire on the other side of the bed behind me. It was a human-like presence, except it only vaguely appeared human. That was the only thing that was human-like about it. But it was covered in it was very skeleton-like, and was covered in this black, burned skin that was just almost like the heated cellophane that you can heat and shrink. The skin was just shrunken to this thing's bones. It didn't have hair. It was just black smut, just something that looked like it had just been torched, but it still had a little bit of a human look. Even its abdomen, the skin was just sunk to its backbone where there was no intestines. I couldn't turn and see this. I saw it all like in my own mind. This thing began to crawl on the bed behind me towards me, and I could feel whenever the weight of it got on the bed, because my body fell back slightly like somebody had sat down on the bed. And I remember trying my best to reach for the light, to try to turn a light on, but still I was completely paralyzed. And I felt this thing in my mind's eye, just, I could see it like slithering, crawling to my back. And the way I was laying, from my waist down, my legs were just like normal, like somebody laying on their side. But from my waist up, this thing began to crawl onto my back in between my shoulder blades. By doing that, it's twisted my top of my body like a pretzel, because the other bottom was so heavy, I mean, it couldn't move. It was paralyzed. And the top was being twisted into the pillow, and my face was going into the pillow, almost to where like I couldn't breathe. Its full weight was sitting high up on my back, like right into the middle of the shoulder blades, and I could feel it leaning forward like it was trying to look into my face. And I remember thinking, don't let this thing look into your eyes. And I felt like that's what it was trying to do. Like it was trying to look inside my eyes for, I don't know if it was going to possess me, attack me, I don't know. But I just knew there was a message coming through my brain that said, don't let this thing look in your friggin' eyes. And you know, what do you do? What do you really do? I'm laying there twisted like a pretzel with like a thin, burned demon man sitting on my back, and my whole entire body is paralyzed, and it's trying to like look at me in the face, and I don't want to see its face. I don't want to see its face. I already can see what it looks like in my mind. I don't want to see the real thing. And my head is just shoved into the pillow. All I could do, it was almost like a natural instinct, is I started saying the Lord's Prayer. Now don't get me wrong, I'm a Southern Baptist. I love the Lord. I believe in the Lord. I love Jesus Christ. I do consider myself a Christian, but I'm not. At that time, I would never consider myself one to jump to spiritual, help like that, because I didn't attend church regularly or do anything that like you would think a perfect Christian did. No lie. I got to the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And it was like I had been in a room that was completely black, and suddenly somebody put a flashlight right to my eye and turned it on the highest. Everything, I couldn't even see the walls anymore. I couldn't see any fire, light or anything. I couldn't see anything but this brilliant, like brightest white light you could ever imagine. And with that light, I felt like another presence in the room, but I did not feel like it was like Jesus or the Lord. I felt it was almost like a guardian or something. And I almost started like mocking this thing, where I was terrified like 10 minutes ago. I had this strength that came, and it was like, who do you think you are? How dare you bother me? I'm a child of God. You can't do anything to me. And it felt like I laid there saying the Lord's Prayer in this bright light for a few seconds. And then just like that, everything was back to normal. I can remember my muscles being sore and just reaching up and turning the light on. And when I saw everything was back to normal, I had absolutely no fear. I turned the light back off and I went back to bed. I felt protected.